What if the US decided to drop a nuke on another country? Does the president really just press some red button and boom? That's what movies make it look like. But in real life, the process of launching a nuclear weapon is way more complicated and honestly, way more terrifying. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand how America's nuclear system actually works. So let's get into it. According to the U.S. Constitution, the final order to launch a nuclear strike can only come from one person: the President of the United States. And the crazy part is, no one can really stop that decision once it's made. Since 1948, the U.S. has built its nuclear response system around one idea. If America ever comes under nuclear attack, the president has to make a decision fast. There's no time to ask Congress, no time for a long debate. Sometimes the decision could have to happen in just minutes, and that's where the whole process begins. You've probably seen pictures or news clips of the U.S. president walking around with a military officer nearby, carrying a black leather briefcase. That briefcase weighs around 45 pounds, and the world knows it as the nuclear football. Whether the president is in the U.S., overseas, or flying in the air, that football stays close 24/7. Now, here's something a lot of people don't know. There isn't just one nuclear football. Usually, the emergency system includes 3 of these briefcases. One stays with the president, one is kept with the vice president as a backup, and another is kept for White House emergency continuity. Why? Because if the president suddenly can't act or power is transferred for any reason, the command system can't afford even 1 second of confusion. The system is built so there's never a gap in who has legal authority. Inside, there are documents, emergency plans, and different response options. One of the most important parts is what's often described as a kind of black, which lays out the strike options available during a crisis. On top of that, the president also carries something called the Biscuit. This Biscuit is a small plastic card, about the size of a credit card. Think of it like the president's identity card for nuclear authorization. It contains secret codes used to confirm that the order is really coming from the president, and those codes get changed regularly. What makes this even crazier is how many times this card has reportedly gotten messed up in real life. Back in 1981, after Ronald Reagan was shot, his code card was later found at the hospital. Bill Clinton reportedly lost his for months, and Jimmy Carter once even sent his card to the dry cleaner. So, yeah, the idea that this much power rests with one person is a huge deal. A lot of people think that's dangerous. Now, let's say U.S. radar and satellite systems detect that an enemy country has launched nuclear missiles toward America. The clock is already ticking. Top military leaders and national security officials immediately alert the president. In those first few minutes, the president gets an emergency briefing. They explain how serious the threat is, what's coming, and what response options are available. Then the president has to make the final call. The officer with the nuclear football opens the briefcase. The president has to call in the order to the Pentagon's command center. But obviously, they need to know the guy on the phone is actually the president, right? So, the military officer at the Pentagon hits him with a challenge code. The president immediately checks his Biscuit, that's the little card he carries around with him, and reads the matching codes right back. As soon as those codes line up, the Pentagon knows for sure. All right, this is 100% legit. From there, they scramble that order into a super secure encrypted message. Then, they blast that message straight out to all those top secret spots across the country where the nukes are actually kept ready to go. Now, we drop down into these underground bunkers, like 60 or 70 feet below the surface. Down there, 2 missile officers on duty hear an alarm go off and get that secret message. Right away, they crack open a safe that holds a set of pre-written codes. They take the code the Pentagon just sent and compare it to the one in their safe. If it's a perfect match, they know for a fact the order is 100% real. Next up is the 2-man rule, which is basically the final safety check before launching the missile. The U.S. set this up so one guy can't just lose his mind or get mad and fire off a nuke all by himself, Both officers have to turn their own separate keys at the exact same time. The catch? Those keyholes are set at least 12 feet apart in the control room, so both officers stand by their keys and both turn them. The moment they do, the system takes over and activates the missile. The massive, heavy lid on the bunker blows open and the missile shoots up into the sky, blasting fire. So where are all these nuclear weapons kept? The U.S. spreads them across 3 main types of platforms. This is called the nuclear triad. First, there are land-based missiles hidden in underground silos. Second, there are nuclear submarines moving underwater. And third, there are strategic bombers that can carry nuclear weapons by air. So, yeah, in a strange way, the nuclear command system can move faster than ordering a pizza. Now, if we're talking about the biggest nuclear bomb ever built, that was the Tsar Bomba, created by the Soviet Union in 1961, roughly 3,800 times more powerful than the little boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945.